Check 1, 2. Oh, now, okay. How about is this working or this is not working? Not working. Oh, now it's okay. Now we're on. Okay. For those of you who are joining us on YouTube and TempleShalom.com, that banging that you heard was us testing out the microphones. But welcome everyone. We'll turn to page 128 in your Siddur Mishkan Tfilah, in the middle of the page. The top of page 129. We read from Song of Songs during Pesach, and we're in the middle of Pesach, so we'll introduce a little Shabbat with that section of the Tanakh. Shani, If you turn back to page 120, you'll find the words of our blessing for lighting our candles. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kishanu b'mitzvotav v'tzivah ve'havim shel Shabbat. Continue with our Kabbalat Shabbat beginning on page 130 as we make our way through these Psalms that bring us from our very busy week. This week in particular, a bit busier than most because of our celebration of Pesach, but we leave behind all of the work of the week and make our way into Shabbat as we say goodbye to each and every day of the week. Psalm 95 on page 130. Lechu neranina, lechu neranina, lechu neranina l'Adonai. Lechu neranina, lechu neranina, lechu neranina l'Adonai. Nadia, Nadia, l'tzuri shenu, adma panav v'toda. Nadia, Nadia, l'tzuri shenu, yirod nilalo. Lechu neranina, lechu neranina, lechu neranina l'Adonai. Lechu neranina, lechu neranina, lechu neranina l'Adonai. Psalm 96 on page 131. Shiru l'Adonai, Shir Chadash, sing unto God a new song. Shiru l'Adonai, Kol ha'aretz, all of the earth sings a new song to God. We sing the second line and then the first line. Shiru l'Adonai, Kol ha'aretz. Shiru l'Adonai, Shir Chadash. God on the earth a new song. I will sing unto God a new song. Sing unto God and we all sing songs. All the earth a new song unto God. As we turn to page 132, 4 lines from the bottom of the page in the Hebrew, Or Zarua La Tzadik, light is sown for those who are righteous. Yishrei Lev, and for those who are good-hearted, Simcha, joy. And we hope during this Zman Cherutenu, which is another Hebrew name for the holiday of Pesach, Zman Cherutenu, the time of our freedom, that we find in that freedom righteousness. We find in that freedom holiness. We find the gifts of happiness and light, as discussed in Psalm 97. Or Zarua La Tzadik, Yishrei Lev Simcha. Or Zarua La Tzadik, Yishrei Lev Simcha. Or Zarua La Tzadik, Yishrei Lev Simcha. Psalm 98 on page 133. We'll read together in English at the bottom of the page. A psalm. Sing to Adonai a new song, for God has worked wonders. God's right hand, God's holy arm has won God victory. Adonai has manifested God's victory, has displayed God's triumph in the sight of the nations. God was mindful of God's steadfast love and faithfulness toward the house of Israel. All of the earth beheld the victory of our God. Raise a shout to Adonai, all the earth. Break into joyous songs of praise. And we sing another of those joyous psalms, Psalm 99 on page 135. We speak of God's place in the heavens and ruling justly over the world. And as we stand at God's mountain, we say, Romemu Adonai Eloheinu. We exalt Adonai our God, V'hishtachavu l'harkot sho, and we bow down, prostrate ourselves before God at God's holy mountain. Adonai, Eloheinu Romenu, Ki Kadosh Adonai, Eloheinu Romenu, Adonai, Eloheinu, V'hishtachavu l'harkot sho, Romenu Adonai, Eloheinu, V'hishtachavu. We made our way beginning at Psalm 95, 6 days of the week, 95, 96, 97, 98, and 99. We make our way now to Psalm 29. You would think 100 would come next, but it doesn't. And the reason is Psalms 95 through 99 are psalms of praise, but these Psalm 100 is a psalm of thanksgiving. It's actually, the first words are a psalm of thanksgiving. That's actually what it translates to. I always recommend that you say that song at your Thanksgiving table. But we continue with these ideas of praise. And the next psalm of praise that the rabbis looked at after they looked at all these ones in the 90s was Psalm 29, which you'll find on pages 136 and 137. We'll read together in the English. A psalm of David. Ascribe to Adonai, O divine beings. Ascribe to Adonai glory and strength. Ascribe to Adonai the glory of God's name. Bow down to Adonai, majestic in holiness. The voice of Adonai is over the waters. The God of glory thunders, Adonai, over the mighty waters. The voice of Adonai is power. The voice of Adonai is majesty. The voice of Adonai breaks cedars. Adonai shatters the cedars of Lebanon. God makes Lebanon skip like a calf, Sirion like a young wild ox. The voice of Adonai kindles flames of fire. The voice of Adonai convulses the wilderness. Adonai convulses the wilderness of Kadesh. The voice of Adonai causes hinds to calve and strips forests bare. While in God's temple all say glory. Adonai sat enthroned at the flood. Adonai sits enthroned sovereign forever. May Adonai grant strength to God's people. May Adonai bestow on God's people well-being. Those last two lines in the Hebrew. Adonai oz le'amo yitain. Adonai yivarech et amo b'shalom. We sing those words. Page 137. Lai, 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 lai. Lai, 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 lai. Lai, lai, lai. Adonai, Yivarech et Amo page 138 and 139. We've made our way through the Psalms, saying goodbye to the week, and we say hello to Shabbat with Lecha Dodi. We'll sing verses 1 and 4 on page 138, verses 5 and 9 on page 139. Are you feeling mellow or are you feeling festive? Oh, thanks for the help. Both. All right. I guess it's the middle of Pesach, so maybe we should be joyful. So we'll do a little joyful melody. Lecha lecha dodi, v'kat v'kat kala, v'kipini shamat v'kabela. Lecha lecha dodi, v'kat v'kat kala, v'kipini shamat v'kabela. La 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 la. Lecha dodi, v'kat v'kat kala, v'kipini shamat v'kabela. Lecha lecha dodi, v'kat v'kat kala, v'kipini shamat v'kabela. Shamor v'zachor v'diburecha, Ishmi'ani el hamilchai Adonai echad Shemo echad, V'shemu tiferet v'lecha la 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 lecha dodi, v'krat v'krat kala, v'nimkeni shamat v'kabela. Lecha lecha dodi, v'krat v'krat kala, v'nimkeni shamat v'kabela. We don't sing all the verses, I didn't sing all 9. They're kind of beautiful and inspiring. We talked about Elijah bringing the Messiah during Pesach. Parts of the verses here talk about the Messiah coming through Prophet Elijah and all those good things. So, verse number 2, here we go. Kabbalat Shabbat, lechu v'nelcha, Yihi makor habracha, merosh mikem yasucha, sucha zedana Shabbat, la 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 lecha dodi. V'krat v'krat kala, v'kipini shamat v'kabela. Lecha lecha dodi, v'krat v'krat kala, v'kipini shamat v'kabela. Mikdash melech ir melicha, u'mitzvei b'tochei ha'pecha, ram lach shevet be'emek ha'bacha, v'hu yachamor alayich la 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 lecha dodi. V'krat v'krat kala, v'kipini shamat v'kabela. Lecha lecha dodi, v'krat v'krat kala, v'kipini shamat v'kabela. Ibna'ari me'afar kuli, v'ishi v'gei v'fatech ami, al yad be'ishai v'halachim, kol v'ayal nashika ala la 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 lecha dodi. V'krat v'krat kala, v'kipini shamat v'kabela. Lecha lecha dodi, v'krat v'krat kala, v'kipini shamat v'kabela. Oreri, ki ba'orech uri uri, uri uri, shir daberi, kivod Adonai alayich nigla la 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 lecha dodi, v'krat v'krat kala, v'kipini shamat v'kabela. Lecha lecha dodi, v'krat v'krat kala, v'kipini shamat v'kabela. Lo tevoshi v'lo tikavli, ma tishtochachi u'ma tehmi, v'chichnesu aniyei ami, v'nivnata yiralti la 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 lecha dodi, v'krat v'krat kala, v'kipini shamat v'kabela. Lecha lecha dodi, v'krat v'krat kala, v'kipini shamat v'kabela. V'hayu shosash Yisrael, v'rachafuto mevalayich, yasi salayich Elohayich, kishos katayach la 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 lecha dodi, v'krat v'krat kala, v'kipini shamat v'kabela. Lecha lecha dodi, v'krat v'krat kala, v'kipini shamat v'kabela. Yamin u'shmol tiprotzi, ve'et Adonai taritzi, al yadi shten parti, ve'nizvecha ve'nagi la 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 lecha dodi, לקראת התחלה, שבת מתחדלה, לך דודי לקראת התחלה, Shabbat מתחדלה. Rise, we face the door, welcome in the image of the Shabbat bride. בואי ושלום, עטרת בעלה, גם בשמחה ובצולה, תוך ימי סלולה. בואי חלה, לה 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 לה, לך דודי לקראת חלה, ונפני שבת מתחדלה, לך דודי לקראת חלה, ונפני שבת מתחדלה, לה 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 לה, לך דודי לקראת חלה, ונפני שבת מתחדלה, לך דודי לקראת חלה, ונפני שבת מתחדלה. We have greeted the Shabbat bride, so it's time to greet each other. Turn to your neighbors in front of you, behind you, beside you, and wish everyone Shabbat Shalom. And for those of you joining us up there at the camera on TempleShalom.com and on our YouTube channel, Shabbat Shalom and Chag Pesach Sameach to all of you. All right, Shabbat Shalom, everyone. We can find our seats again on this beautiful Shabbat in the middle of Pesach as we turn in our Siddur to page 141, 40. Yeah, 140, right? Huh? Did I not say 140? I thought I said 140. I don't know. Turn to the page opposite page 141. There you go. How's that? It's a safe place. Psalm 92, a psalm of Shabbat. Tov lehodot l'Adonai. It is good to give thanks to God. L'zamer l'shimcha elyon, and to sing of God's name most high. L'zmor shir yom haShabbat. Tov lehodot l'Adonai. L'zamer l'shimcha elyon. L'zamer l'shimcha elyon. Moshir liyom haShabbat, tov lehodot la'Adonai, u'lizamer l'shimcha elyon, u'lizamer l'shimcha elyon, להגיד בבוקר חסדך, ואמונתך בלילות, עלי עצור ועלי נבל עלי. Page 144. Become the Chatzi Kaddish. Yitgadal v'yitgadash shmei rabba, ve'alma divrach yirutei v'yamlich malchutei, וחייכון וביומכון ובחיי דכל בית ישראל בעגלה בעגלה ובזמן קריב ויאמרו אמן. יהי שמי רבה מבורך לעולם עולמי עלמיה יתברך יתברך וישתבח ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא ויתהדר ויתעלה ויתהלל שמי דקודשה בריחו לעילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה תושבחתה ונחמתה דמירון בעלמה ויאמרו Amen. We rise as we turn to page 146 as we call ourselves to prayer with the words of Baruch Hu. Lai, 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 lai. Baruch Hu et Adonai seated. We give thanks for creation with the words of Ma'ariv Aravim. We'll read together in English to begin with on page 148. Blessed are you, Adonai our God, ruler of the universe, who speaks the evening into being, skillfully opens the gates, thoughtfully alters the time and changes the seasons, and arranges the stars in their heavenly courses according to plan. You are creator of day and night, rolling light away from darkness and darkness from light, transforming day into night and distinguishing one from the other. Adonai Tzavaot is your name. Ever-living God, may you reign continually over us into eternity. El Chai V'Kayam, Tamid L'Chalim, Le'olam Va'ed. Baruch Atah Adonai. Give thanks for the gift of Torah with the words on page 150. Ahavat Olam, with the everlasting love you have loved us, giving us your Torah. First to study each and every day and use it as a guidebook for our way through life. For its words are our life, and they are the length of our days. Ahavat Olam, page 150. Ahavat Olam, Beit Yisrael, Amcha Ahavta, Amcha Ahavta, Torah u'mitzvot, u'kiyum mishpatim, Otani Al Kein Adonai, Eloheinu b'shofinu, Kumenu nasiach b'chotecha, V'nismach b'divrei Toratecha, U'mitzvotecha le'olam va'ed. Ki hayenu be'orech yameinu, U'bahem nehege yoma v'layla, nehege yoma v'layla. Ya'avatcha al tasir, Minu le'olami, Baruch atah Adonai, Ohev amo Yisrael. Ohev amo Yisrael. We join together in Shema, page 152 and 153. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad, Baruch Shem Kevod Malchuto Le'olam Va'ed. Ve'ahavta et Adonai Elohecha v'chol levavcha v'chol nafshecha v'chol me'odecha ve'hayu hadvarim ha'elech asher anochi mitzavecha hayom al levavecha v'shinantam levanecha v'dibarta apam v'shivtecha b'veitecha Uvlechtecha v'derech, uv'shochbecha u'kmecha, u'kshartam le'ot al yadecha, v'hayu l'totafot beinenecha, u'chtavtam al mezuzot beitecha, uv'yisharecha, leman tizkeru v'asitem et kol mitzvotai, v'yitem kedoshim le'elohechem, ani Adonai Elohechem, Asher hotzeiti etchem me'eretz Mitzrayim v'yot lachem le'Elohim ani Adonai Elohechem Adonai Elohechem emet. We continue responsibly as we come to our prayer of Geula, our prayer of redemption that speaks of our redemption from Egypt that we celebrate during this Pesach festival. We'll read responsibly on page 157. In a world torn by violence and pain, a world far from wholeness and peace, give us the courage to say, Adonai, there is one God in heaven and earth. The high heavens declare your glory. From bondage in Egypt, we were delivered at Sinai. We bound ourselves to your way. Though our failings are many and our faults are great, it has been our glory to bear witness to our God, keeping alive in dark ages your vision of a world redeemed. Just as our ancestors sang at the sea, we sing these words as well. From page 158. ונאמר כבראר בנת יעקב וגואל חיית מזק ממנו ברוך אתה אדוני גואל ישראל. Page 160, we ask God to lie us down in peace and to cause us to rise again tomorrow to life, to watch our going and our coming, for life and for peace, for now and for all time. Ashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu Shalom v'ha'adim shomreinu v'chayim. Ashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu Shalom v'ha'adim shomreinu v'chayim. In the indented paragraph in the middle of the page. Ushmor tzitzi As Moses came down the mountain for the final time, he gives one more reminder of the importance of keeping Shabbat. Let it be a symbol between us and God, a reminder of all the things of creation. On page 162, we find these words, that we will keep Shabbat throughout all ages, and it will remind us of that creation and remind us that on the seventh day we spend some time to cease from everything and refresh our soul. V'shameru b'nei Yisrael et ha'Shabbat la'asot et ha'Shabbat b'dorotam v'ri Torah Asa Adonai et hashamayim ve'et haaretz u'yom hashvi'i Shabbat Shabbat vayinafash Shabbat Shabbat vayinafash Shabbat We come to the Amidah, we all rise. We begin on page 164 with the Zimun, a meditation to bring ourselves into the space of our communal and our individual prayers standing before God. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu Elohei Avotenu v'Imoteinu Elohei Avraham Elohei Yitzchak Elohei Yaakov Elohei Sarah Elohei Rivka Elohei Rachel Elohei Leah Ha'el Hagadol Hagibor v'Hanora El Elyon Gomel Chasadim Tovim V'Konei Hakol V'zocher chasdei avot v'imahot u'mevig ula livnei v'neihem lema'an shemo be'ahava melech ozer Moshiach u'magin Baruch atah Adonai magin Avraham ve'ezrat Sarah atah gibor le'olam Adonai v'chayei hakol atah rab le'hoshia morid hatal Mechalkel chayim bechesed, Mechaye hakol berachamim rabim. Somech noflim verofeh cholim, Umatir asurim, Umekaye emunato, Lishenei afar, Michamocha ba'al gevurot, Umido melach, Melech memit u'mechaye u'matzmiach Yeshua v'ne'eman atah l'chayot hakol Baruch atah Adonai mechaye hakol 70 atah kadosh v'shimcha kadosh u'kadoshim b'chol yom yahalelucha selah Baruch atah Adonai ha'el hakadosh. We continue 172 or 173 in the Hebrew English through 180, 181. When you're finished with your own silent prayers, you can be seated. page 180. Yuratzon Imrefi Adonai Suri V'goali Adonai Suri V'goali. May the words of my mouth and the meditations of my heart, may they all be acceptable unto you, Adonai, my rock and my Redeemer. Adonai, my rock, my Redeemer. Yuratzon Imrefi Begion Libi Lefanecha Adonai Suri Begoali Adonai Suri Begoali. Page 371. We think of those who are in need of healing. We ask for God to bring refuah shlema to Brian Zabel, Gnendel Batsima, Azi Rahmani, Avraham ben Meir, Tova Bat Rasha, Howard Messerman, Howard Chook, Eleanor Siegelman, Robert Ozick, Cass Waters, David Horowitz, Judy Oppenheim, Fran Hart, Harry Salzman, Aharon ben Avraham Basara, Ilana Bat Elisheva. Do we have any other names for healing on this side of the room? Any names for healing prayers this side of the room? Any others? For all those we've named, and for all those in need, we ask God to bring for each and every one of them refuah shlema min hashamayim, complete healing from the heavens, as we sing together the words in the middle of the page. Bless the ones before us, help us find those in need of healing with your full Shlema. The renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen. This Shabbat, when we read Torah tomorrow morning, we actually read from a section of the Torah that does not follow in our chronological reading pattern. We turn back a little ways in the Torah, and instead of reading the Parsha as they go week by week, we read a section that has to do with Pesach. During Pesach, there's actually a Torah reading for each and every day of Pesach, all 7 days if you're in Israel, or all 8 days if you are in the diaspora. And in our Torah reading, we read about the various sacrifices and the various customs that Torah lists for the holiday of Pesach. Most of what we know, though, of the Seder that we hopefully celebrated on Thursday evening and Wednesday evening before that, if you did first and second Seder. Some of us only were on Wednesday, some of us were only on Thursday, and some of us were on both nights. But if we read in our Seder in the Haggadah, most of the Haggadah is laid out word for word in Masechet Pesachim, or the tractate of the Talmud on the holiday of Pesach. And we're given directives in there on exactly what goes on the Seder plate. We're given directives on there of what we're supposed to say and what we're supposed to read and what blessings, etc. And the rabbis of the Talmud lay out the entire Pesach Seder for us in the Talmud. It becomes the Haggadah, although I can tell you that there are thousands upon thousands of Haggadot that have been written all over the world at various times. You can find Haggadot just in Hebrew. You can find them in Hebrew and English here in America. You can find them in Hebrew and all sorts of other languages. In my office, I have a couple that are in Hebrew and Russian. I have one in Hebrew and Spanish. I have one in Hebrew and Arabic, all sitting on the shelves in there. And people over the years have created new Haggadot with themes. I remember when I was a kid, it was the bicentennial. And we had the bicentennial Haggadah. And the Haggadah quoted not just from the Torah, but from the Declaration of Independence, and George Washington, and John Adams, and Abraham Lincoln. I'm not sure what Abraham Lincoln had to do with the 4th of July. I know he was president for a few years, and the 4th of July came around each one of those years. But I'm not sure what he had to do with Independence Day. I don't think he was around, but I'll check my history book just to be sure. But people have written themes. We've had Ethiopian freedom Haggadot to help the Ethiopian Jews. We've had Haggadot that have had a theme of releasing the Russian Jews when the refuseniks couldn't leave Russia in the 60s and in the 70s, and we were fighting to get them to be able to come to Israel or to come to America. But as we read through the Haggadah, there are some passages that are quite clear. We're taught that if you don't talk about the Pesach and the Maror and the Matzah, your Seder's not complete. That's pretty clear. Talk about those 3 things that are sitting on your Seder plate. Not so clear, the 10 plagues, because there were 10. I mean 50. I mean 200. I mean 250. Because if you read the full Haggadah, which some people do and some people don't, if you don't, you're missing out on some good stuff. There's good stuff in there. But it tells us that after the 10 plagues in Egypt, there were more plagues at the sea. And it tells us that Rabbi Yossi HaGalili said that there were 50 plagues at the sea. And then it tells us that Rabbi Eliezer said there were 200 plagues at the sea. And then it tells us that Rabbi Akiva told us there were 250 plagues at the sea. So are we to believe there were 10 plagues in Egypt and more at the sea? And if there were all these numbers at the sea, should we believe Rabbi Akiva? 250? Should we believe Rabbi Eliezer? 200. Should we believe Rabbi Yossi HaGalili? 50. I don't know. Me, I kind of tend toward Rabbi Yossi HaGalili. Not because I think there were 50 plagues, just because I like Rabbi Yossi HaGalili. Why do I like Rabbi Yossi HaGalili? Well, he argues in the Talmud that chicken parmesan is kosher. I mean, okay, so he doesn't mention chicken parmesan, but he does say that you rabbis in Jerusalem I'm Yossi HaGalili, which means Josie of the Galilee, up in the north. He says, I don't understand you people. You tell me that we can't mix milk and meat because you can't boil a calf in its mother's milk. I'm a chicken farmer up here in the north, and I can tell you because I know chickens don't give milk to their young. Therefore, this idea that you came up with that we shouldn't mix chicken and milk together, it's a ridiculously silly idea. You should be able to mix milk and meat together if the meat is chicken or some other form of fowl, turtle, dove, or pigeon, or whatever it is, the other things that they are eating there. And he says, this is what we should do up here in the north. We make a stew. It's a very famous recipe. It's chicken of the Galilee. And, you know, I mean, I know people buy, there's these canned chicken of the sea, but that's not the same thing because that's a fish. But chicken of the Galilee, this was a dish that they actually cooked, and it had chicken and it had milk in it, and they ate it in the Galilee. And so they all voted. Yossi HaGalili voted kosher, chicken and milk together. The rest of the rabbis voted no, and so he lost the battle. But I appreciate that he thought the chicken parmesan should be kosher, and so he's my favorite. So I go with the 50 plagues. But Rabbi Eliezer is an important guy, 200 plagues. Rabbi Akiva, great scholar. He taught that you could learn. He didn't even start learning. He didn't know this should be for those conversion students in the class or those who are not Hebrew speakers in the class. Rabbi Akiva never learned the letters of the Aleph Bet, the Hebrew alphabet, until he was 40 years old. Amazing, right? So maybe they all had something to teach. But what's up with these numbers? Because after you hear 50 plagues at the sea, 200 plagues at the sea, 250 plagues at the sea, we just move on with the story as if it's a normal thing that we should read about that many plagues at the sea. So why do we read about them? Because there's no explanation in the Haggadah other than how we got the number. But there's no explanation of why they're there, because they're certainly not mentioned in the Torah. But they are mentioned in the Midrash and then in the Talmud. So why such numbers? The idea is to get us to focus on the huge idea of the miracle of freedom. 10 plagues. If you go on the internet, you can find, just Google it, you'll find it, scientific explanation for the 10 plagues on Egypt. Go Google it. You'll find hundreds upon hundreds of pages with a scientific explanation for all 10 of the plagues. Maybe they're right, although I still haven't found a good explanation for hail that has fire inside of it. They divided up the hail and the fire, but I don't know. But we can explain away, perhaps, the 10 plagues on Egypt as natural phenomena. But what if there were 50 plagues? What if there were 200 plagues? What if there were 250 plagues upon Egypt? Well, plus the other 10, so it would be 60 and 210 and 260. Can we scientifically, intellectually explain away all of those plagues? The rabbis were trying to give us the idea that if we look at all of these plagues, not just the 10, but the exponentially grander numbers that the Talmudic rabbis gave us of plagues at the Sea of Reeds, we should understand how great the miracle was. Especially in modern times, we're pretty cynical. I think if someone ran in here and said, the sun is blocked out, it's a miracle, we would say, no, moron, it's an eclipse. But 200, 250 plagues? Can we explain them all away? No. We were slaves for 400 years. And then all of a sudden we were free. How great is the miracle? And the miracle couldn't happen from one plague. It took many, many, many plagues for the miracle to happen. In our times, we can make miracles happen, but one of us can't. If I bring 10 cans to Care and Share Food Bank over near the corner of Powers and Constitution, I can feed a few people, but it doesn't create a miracle. If you bring 10 cans of food over to Care and Share Food Bank, it'll feed a couple of people, but it doesn't create a miracle. But if everybody brings 10 cans of food to Care and Share Food Bank, even perhaps greater if you donate money there, because they can buy more food with the money than you can. And everybody sends something there. If everybody sends a little something to some other charity that helps people who are enslaved by hunger, enslaved by poverty, enslaved in bad relationships, enslaved in bad jobs, enslaved in actual slavery that we still have here in America and in almost every country in the world. If one person helps, that's good. If two people help, that's better. But if everybody helps, that is a modern day miracle. And so when the rabbis were saying these numbers, 50 plagues, 200 plagues, 250 plagues at the sea, they didn't want us to think there were actually that many plagues at the sea, because there weren't. But they wanted to call our attention to what a miracle really is. It's not something small. And maybe 10 seems like a small number if you've been slaves for 400 years. But when the miracle expands exponentially at the sea, before we walk through the sea toward freedom, we see the power of a miracle. And maybe, just maybe, we realize that we can be the power of that miracle. During the rest of your Pesach, may you find your power to be the miracle of Pesach. Amen. We come to the concluding prayers of our service, page 586. At the bottom of the page as we rise for Aleinu. Aleinu l'shabeach l'adon hakol, l'teit gdula liyotzeh bereshit, shelo asanu k'goyei ha'aratzot, velo samanu k'mishpachot ha'adama, shelo sam chelkeinu kahem, v'gor aleinu kechol hamonam, va'anachnu korim, umishtachavim umodim, lifnei melech, malchei hamlachim, hakadosh baruch hu, shehu noteh shamayim ve'yoser haaretz, umoshev yikaro b'shamayim mima'al, ushkinatu zo, v'goveh meromim, hu Eloheinu einod, emet malkeinu efezulato, kakatu v'torato, v'yadata hayom v'hashivota elevavecha, ki Adonai hu Elohim, b'shamayim mima'al, ve'al haaretz mitachat einod, the middle of 590. Ki amalchut shelcha hi olam yimloch v'chavod, kakatu b'toratecha, Adonai yimloch leolam va'ed, v'ne'emar, v'haya Adonai lemelech al kol haaretz, v'yom hahu, yeh Adonai echad, Ushemo echad, Ushemo echad. We can be seated. In our yard sites this week, we recall the memories of Anne Silverstein, Jeanette Niger, Morris Feldman, Alexander Mendoza, Ethel Bernstein, Fred Brock, Herman Kaiser, James Redmond, John Dedrick, Paul Atencio, Sarah Ginsberg, Alter Pfeffer, Ralph Estrella, Eileen Katz, Leslie Unger, Ruth Levison, Max Waldbaum, Rabbi Howard Hirsch, Daniel Drucker, Fred Harris, Lucille Rinsky, Rosalie Feinberg, Andrea Jachnik, Jack Gerfine, Max Schatz, Nettie Cook, and Philip Wright. We are in the period of Shloshim for Stan Warhawk, brother of Terry Simon, for Ellen McIntosh, mother of Pam Gerfine, and Andrea Kempf, mother of Robin Kempf. Are there any other yard sites that anybody is observing? Yehu Zichronam Levrachah, may their memories be an eternal blessing. We ask mourners to rise and those whose custom it is to stand with them. As we turn in our Siddur to page 598, as in their memory we sanctify God's name. Yitkadal v'yitkadash shemei rabbah, be'alma divra chirutei v'yamlich malchutei, v'chayechon uv'yomechon uv'chayei d'chol beit Yisrael, ba'agala uv'zman kari v'imru amen. V'hei shmei rabbah mevorach le'olam almei almaya, yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh. V'itadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shemei d'kudasha b'richu, le'ela min kol berchata v'shirata, tushbechata v'nechemata, da'amiran be'alma v'yimru amen. Yehei shalama rabba min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'yimru amen. Oseh shalom nimramav, huya seh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'yimru amen. We can all be seated. Before we end our service, a few announcements. I don't know what's on the announcement list, so I'm going to go grab them and see what's on the announcements in the office. I could make stuff up, but I actually want to tell you what's going on. So I'll just keep talking on the microphone and hope that the microphone's still going to be working while I'm in the other room here, and we'll see if that actually works. And I don't know, was it still coming through on the, was it still picking me up? Unbelievable, what a great microphone system it is. It still picked me up. So here we go. A few announcements. Amazing, amazing, amazing. All righty. First of all, thank you all for being here. And Shabbat Shalom and Chag Sameach to all of you. Very happy to have you here. Very happy to have new members and guests and friends and etc. with us here. Just a reminder that we are getting into the time where we've been registering for services and security for a while now. And some people are kind of dropping off from that habit. Please don't get rid of that habit. It really does help us with our synagogue security program if you register in advance so that we know who's coming. It helps with our security guards to be able to check people in. Some dates of upcoming things coming up in the month of April. Make sure you mark them on your calendar and make sure you register at templeshalom.com on the calendar for these things. Tomorrow morning, of course, we have Shabbat morning services. We'll be reading our Pesach section of the Torah. We are off from religious school classes both Sunday and Tuesday this week for Pesach. Additionally, there is no preschool on Tuesday or Thursday during Pesach, but there will be all of our cute little preschoolers here next Friday morning for our wonderful Shabbat celebration with them. Thursday, April 13th at 9:30 in the morning, we'll be gathering here. Thursday, April 13th, it's the last day of Pesach, so our Yom Tov day as well with our Yizkor service as part of that morning. So please join us if you're able on Thursday morning. Sunday, April 23rd in the afternoon from 3 to 5 p.m. A first thing here, I think maybe ever, or if not ever in a long, long time, but we have a high tea with chamber orchestra concert. So I believe it's a sextet, if I'm not mistaken. 2 members of our congregation are in the sextet. And so come get some tea and crumpets, I don't know, cookies, I don't know, finger sound. There'll be tea, this much I know. I don't know if there'll be other stuff, but I assume there will be. And there'll be a really cool chamber music concert that day. So join us, that's Sunday, April 23rd from 3 to 5 p.m. Again, you can join us for that. April 27th. Oh, I think I'm going to go to that April 27th. Oh, and April 30th, I think I'm going to go to that too. Yeah, April 23rd for IT. Thursday night, April 27th, you will want to be here. It's a Thursday night. It's the next edition of In the Rabbi's Kitchen. If you've never been to In the Rabbi's Kitchen, it's like watching the Food Network, and I'm cooking live in my Rabbi's Kitchen. This time around, It's Israeli dinner, homemade falafel, homemade hummus, homemade pita. If you want to know how to make those things, you want to be here that Thursday night. Small charge to cover the food, but if you want to learn how to cook that stuff, it's great stuff. The next night, Friday night, April 28th, you will want to be here for our Shabbat service. There's a potluck dinner, but that potluck dinner, the main course is sponsored. I'm not making all of it, but a local restaurant is. There's going to be falafel and hummus and pita, because on Wednesday night, just 2 days before that, is Israel's, actually it's Tuesday night into Wednesday, is Israel's 75th birthday. So celebrating Israel with a nice Middle Eastern dinner, and you'll want to join in for the things of the cooking class as well. Then on Sunday, April 30th, please join us that day as well. The 29th, there'll be Shabbat services. The 30th from 11 to 12. The next section in They Never Taught Me That in Hebrew School, my ongoing series of classes on one-hour classes. This one is called, you don't need to know anything in advance, by the way, you just come. This one's called, What's the Deal with Kosher Wine? So if you're ever wondering what's the deal with kosher wine, come on the 30th of April and you'll be able to check that out. Additionally, on Monday, April 17th, the 33rd annual Holocaust commemoration service of remembrance at Colorado College, sponsored by the Colorado College Chaplain's Office and the Colorado College Hillel. Danny Schnee, immediate past president of Temple Shalom, will be presenting the stories of his family, of the Shwelm Adler family, who were Holocaust survivors. His mother, Ruth Adler, just died this year. She was 99 and a half years old and a Holocaust survivor, and her story was amazing. Our teens got to interview her a couple of years ago. It was really amazing. You'll want to come to that service. I'll be there, and a lot of Temple members will be there in Bemis Hall at Colorado College, April 17th, 7 p.m. Let's see, if you know any wonderful things that are going on, please let us know. If you know anybody who's sick or in need of support, please let us know. Additionally, we are looking for next year's religious school program, preschool and religious school teachers. So if you are interested, or you know someone who's interested, please contact us in the office. We'd love to talk to you, because we'll be expanding some things in our education program. We thank Temple Shalom's office for the lovely oneg of wine and matzah, because that's what we get to eat during Pesach. And thank you for being here. And Shabbat Shalom, everyone. We'll finish our service on page 625 with a Adon Olam. And we're gonna, it's Pesach, so we'll sing Adon Olam to the melody of Adir Hu, which maybe you sang at your Seders. If you didn't, maybe I'll have to have a class on how to sing Adir Hu, so next year you can sing it at your Seder. Who knows? Maybe that's a class. The songs at the back of the Haggadah, how to sing them. Maybe that should be a class. I don't know. What do you think? Would you guys come? We'll do it next year, before Pesach. Like 2 or 3 weeks for Pesach, we'll do a class. It'll be those songs at the back of the Haggadah that you might not know how to sing, and we'll learn how to sing all of them. Perfect. Well, so this is to the tune of Adir Hu, Adon Olam, page 625. Adon Olam asher malach b'terem kol yitzir nira li'et nasa b'chefzo kol azay melech shemo nikra azay melech shemo nikra acharei kilot hakol levado yimloch nora v'hu haya v'hu hoveh v'hu yiyeh betifara v'hu yiyeh betifara v'hu echad v'in sheni l'hamshilo lahachbira v'li reshit v'li tachlit v'lo ha'oz v'hamisra v'lo ha'oz v'hamisra v'hu eli v'chai goli v'tzorchev li be'etzara v'hu nisi umanos li menakosi be'yom ekra menakosi be'yom ekra be'yado afkidruchi be'eti shan ve'a'ira ve'imruchi geviyati Adonai li ve'lo ira Adonai li ve'lo ira. Shabbat Shalom, everyone. For those of you joining us online, Shabbat Shalom to all of you. Have a wonderful evening. And again, Chag Sameach to all of you. Chag Sameach to all of us. Please join us in the social hall for Kiddush and Motzi. Shabbat Shalom, everyone.